I know. Because so many of you in the last stop licking my face. So many of you in the last episode wanted to see how Kendrick was doing. He's here with me for yes, I know. He's here with me for the opening. Oh, I know. I smell like I just showered. So let's get into it. Take 74. What's good, peacemakers? Welcome back to another episode of the Piece4PeaceCrafting Podcast. I'm Michael, and this is my crafty corner of the YouTube universe. If you would like to find me on other social media, you can do so by following me over on Instagram and Threads as Piece4PeaceCrafting, on Ravelry as Piece4PeaceCraft, and if you like music, you can follow along to the playlist that is associated with this podcast over on Spotify, and that's Piece4PeaceCrafting Podcast playlist. If you have trouble finding that playlist, please feel free to shoot me a DM over on Instagram, and I will send you the link. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to those of you who have subscribed and are on the silliness train and are part of the Cool Kids Club. And for those of you who have recently joined this party, welcome. If this is your first time watching, hello. I hope you do all that fun YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe if you wish. Yeah, and if I'm not what you're down for watching, just, that's cool. Mosey on to the next video. You can click the little next thing and something else fabulous will pop up for you. All right, so it's been 2 weeks. Honestly, I don't even know what's happened in the past 2 weeks, if I'm being perfectly honest. I should have sat down and thought about this a little bit before I started recording, but you know, time, I'm like, I gotta get it in when I can. We're here now. This is when it's happening. I will say that there were a lot of people that reached out with such sweet and kind words in the comments in the last video, and I just want you all to know that that was very heartwarming, and I appreciated all of it. And yeah, this community is really special to me, and I'm happy that you all are along for the ride and you want to make this space and the world that you occupy a better place. And so that is heartwarming to me. So thank you for all of that. Other than that, I feel like the past 2 weeks have just been like a whirlwind of things. It's like, for me, so I'm in Chicago, for those that don't know. For me, and I guess for a lot of people, school is going to be out next week for the Thanksgiving holiday here in the States. And so it's a lot of just like, not wrapping up, but like getting things in order before the kids go on break for a week. And yeah, that time always, I don't know why, I should be so used to this by now, but that time always sort of surprises me. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, we gotta like, you know, if some of my kids are starting a dance, we gotta review things before I don't see you for a week. Or if, you know, we're learning something. For my little ones, it's like, okay, this class, because it's our last class for a week, can be sort of free and we can play some fun dance games, things like that. And so it always takes me back a little bit to just be like, whoa, okay, this is like a lot before I'm not going to see you all for a while. But it's cool. It's all good. Yeah, and then, so starting next week, so I think today's the 17th or 18th, whatever the Friday is, the week before Thanksgiving here in the States. That's when I'm recording. You all will see this tomorrow on Saturday. Yeah, busy weekend ahead. Some of my kids have a performance, which is really great. It's one of our favorite performances of the year. Yeah, it's for like a benefit show that we do here in the city, or that we're a part of. I shouldn't say that we do, that we're a part of. So that's really cool. Yeah, you guys, I don't really know what else has been happening. All right. Anyway, so if I guess there's nothing happening, we should just talk about some fun things that are happening, shall we? All right. So what do I even have for you all? I have one FO that we need to talk about because we'll talk about it. And then I have 2 makes that are works in progress. And then I have a future cast on that I'm excited to talk about. All right, so what is happening? Shall we get into it? Let's talk about it. So FOs. First FO I have, now these ends aren't woven in. If I'm being honest, I did finish them last night. I didn't give them a soak or anything. That's fine. You all will get the gist. But I finished what month was this? October. Yeah, October Woolens And Nosh Mystery Yarn Club socks. I showed them last time. It's the middle of November. If people don't want to see them, don't look. But here they are. Do we love? I'm a little bit obsessed. So this colorway, I don't have the ball bands with me currently, so I'm gonna hope that I remember this. But the colorway was called Our Seasonal Offering Butternut Squash Ravioli with brown butter and a sage cream sauce. I'm pretty sure that's what it was called. I love that so much. So you can totally see all those things within these socks. We have our browned butter, our sage cream sauce, yeah, the butternut squash. These are great. I'm super excited to finally get to wear them. They're very autumnal, which is so fun. I had barely any of the mini left this time. And I tried to go as long as I could for the leg of the sock. And if I'm being honest, I could have gone a little bit further, but I was having trouble deciding what color was gonna look good next to this sort of taupey color. And so I just ended up with falling on black. I love it next to the orange down here. And if I'm being honest, I probably could have gotten to the next big chunk, like a thicker stripe of the orange. But I was just like, these socks are getting mind you, I don't care if my socks are long, but I was like, they're getting a little bit long. Let me just stop it here. Like, who are we kidding? And I'm happy that I did. I like it with the black, also because it is next to the black here with where the heel is. So all of my socks are done on a US 1, and I do them toe up with start with a Turkish cast on, 14 wraps, increase to 68 stitches, and then I just knit until, clearly you just heard me say, I knit until I have had enough. And for these, then I just went ahead and I did, I don't know, 12, 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rows of 1x1 twisted rib to finish it. And I've talked about this before. I've been doing that bind off where I just turn the work and I bind off going back in the opposite direction. And I do knit one, yarn over, knit the next one, pass the yarn over, and the one before it over. So whatever that is, you all will know. Somebody's name, it's a stretchy bind off. That works for me. And then I go back in and I do my afterthought heel. I just place my markers at 7 3/4 and then go back in and cut for the heel. I think these are a little bit funny because it like that ended at like just the top of the sort of taupey color. And so it's not quite in the middle, but I still think it looks kind of nice. Yeah, so these are these socks. I realized today, because I have to go in to work later after I'm done recording this, that I didn't have any socks on the needles, and I was like, oh my god, what am I going to take on the bus with me? So once I'm done recording, I'll have to just grab something off of the wall behind me and cake something up so that I have something to work on during my commute in this afternoon. All right, so those are those. So that's my finished object number 1. Now let's talk about the one that is low-key problematic, shall we? So, pardon my bending over, my reach. So last time I showed you all some fiber that I was spinning up from 316 Dye Studio, so hand-dyed yarn and fiber that I picked up while I was in New York a few weeks ago. And this blend was a Polworth Yak Silk, so 60 Polworth, 20 Yak, 20 Silk. It was 4 ounces, and the color was Autumn Rhodes. Now, I thought that I was doing a great job of spinning it thin enough, and I talked about this. I was doing a ply back. I thought I would get probably a sport weight-ish. Oh shucks, I didn't write down. It doesn't matter. I have it somewhere. Anyway, you all, I finished spinning it up, and here it is. Oh, it's very gold right there. It's like golds and sort of winey burgundies. Anyway, it ended up being roughly, like before I washed it, like 4 something yards. Like definitely like leaning like a light fingering, which is not what I wanted. Which is also crazy because like I was not going for that. So that's wild to me. But here's the thing that is a little bit of low-key disaster is while I was don't judge. This is a learning experience for all of us, okay? So I thought that I was being very focused and intentional about how I was plying it. But if you look, it's not going to focus. So this just looks like a muddled mess. It just like, it's just not plied very well. And I was really bummed about it. Like a lot. I was just like, oh, some of these are just like the 2 strands next to each other. And I literally don't know what I did to cause that to happen. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on my Swift and I'm going to wind it up into just a cake. And then I'm going to workshop replying it and adding more twist to it. Now, I've never done that. So this is going to be a fun little experiment. Just to see if I can get it to a place that it is more usable. Like, I do think the colors are pretty. Like, it's so fun. And I think originally, I know, you guys. Originally, I was going to use this for, yeah, like, it's a little bit nice. It just, the ply job is so horrible. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to reply it. We're going to see if what happens when I do that. I will definitely check back in with you all to let you know what has happened once I do that. And originally I was going to use this to make the Moon Bumps shawl by Maxim Cyr held with some blue this fluff, like these two together. And I thought that that was going to be really pretty. But after sort of looking at it and, well, just because I was so disappointed in the ply job that I did, and it's a little more muted than I thought. Like when it was in the braid, the colors were very vibrant, but that like happens, right? When you, well, yeah, when you spin things up, like you're figuring out what will happen with the fiber as it's being spun. So the colors are a little more muted than I would have hoped for. If I reply this and it ends up looking great, I will use it for something else, no doubt. Like it's gonna get used at some point. I mean, it could also just sit on the shelf for a while until it figures out what it needs to be. But the colors weren't popping enough for being with that blue as I thought it would in my head. So I'm just gonna go and find some more fiber that's around me and try the process again. Now, I do have another braid from them that has a lot of white in it, which is really nice. And it has some blue that's sort of the same color. And this is just 100% Targy. So maybe this will be what I spin up for it. Who knows? We'll figure it out though. I think I just got to deal with this one first to make sure that it's going to be, that I can save it. And I think that I can. And I'm using it as a good learning tool too, right? So like I'm not a very experienced spinner, but I do, like I enjoy the act of the craft. And so, yeah, I haven't really come into a space in which the ply job was like as disappointing as this for me. Like it's fine. And so, yeah, I'm just like, oh, I've heard people say like you can run it back through, you can add more twists to it. It's the same thing if you were to put too much twist in it, you can like put it back through and take some of that away. And so, yeah, this is just going to be me playing around, figuring out what to do. It feels nice. Yeah, it was definitely fun to spin. A little bit slick because of the silk and the yak in it, but I think it's beautiful. It was, yeah, it's great. It's not the yarn, it's me. So this is my like low key, a little bit not so good finished object, but hopefully in the next episode, once I reply it and get some stuff done to it, it will look a lot better. We can have a before and after little showing. All right, so that's that. I feel like I'm just plowing through. All right, let's get into some whips now, shall we? I only have 2, and like that's okay. I don't need 20. All right, so, oh, did I bring? I didn't bring. Shucks, it's okay. All right, so let's go with something you all have seen before. So I've been working on that Seaside Tea. I'll pop in a picture here by Cheryl. I believe her last name is pronounced Mokhtari, something like that. Apologies. And I'm knitting that using Fonte Tartan 6. Oh, here's the other color. So these are my 3, they don't have like colors or anything. So these are my 3 contrast colors. It's written, obviously you just saw a picture of it. It's written just for 2 colors. I'm striping because why not? So those are my contrast colors, worsted weight. And then I'm holding it with this Lions brand Fisherman wool. It's just 100% wool. Yeah, and what is this? Brown heather. Yeah, this stuff is great. It's 8 ounces, 227 grams, 165 yards, or 465 yards and 425 meters of just wool. It's amazing. We love it. All right. So last time, everyone also was so encouraging. Like, keep going with it. If it doesn't fit, like, somebody was like, let me know and I will send you my address. That made me giggle a lot. Jimmy from, what's this podcast I was just watching? Jimmy Knit Stuff? Jimmy Makes Stuff? I'll link his podcast below. He was like, just add some more stitches on the collar and then work it up, and that should open it up some. And I was like, what a good idea too. Anyway, I've just kept chugging along. I haven't tried it on. I'm not really that pressed about it. Again, like, if it doesn't fit, then, like, my roommate's mom, I'm sure, would love it. And if she doesn't, then, like, I will find somebody else to give it to. So, where's my marker for where I was? Oh, here we are. So, here it is. It's looking so good. That orange, okay. Like, it pops when I'm just looking at it in, like, normal lighting, but it really pops on camera, which is funny to me. So this is where I am so far. It's a short sleeve number, so I just have to go back and put some sleeves on it at some point. But the last time you saw it, I was just past this red. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stripes done on it, which is a lot. I mean, that's a few inches. So I was just telling someone I'm like a third of the way through the body, maybe a little bit more than that. Yeah, I probably have another 2/3 to go, but I'm really digging it. I love the colors. I think it's fun. I don't have anything that's sort of striped or that looks like this. I was really nervous about this sort of sagey color, but I think it's cute. Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep working on it. I think it's gonna be fine. It's fine. And if I need to, I'll just, you can fix everything with blocking. I'll just stretch it out a little bit and it'll be great. The yarn's wonderful to work with. I will say that the fisherman's wool has some sort of broken thin spots in it. So it's just like, I don't know, it's like a 1,000 ply or something. What does this say? And there's just there's been a few times where, like, the plies have sort of snapped. And since it's wool, I'm not too worried about it. And I know the spots in which that's happened. And so I'll probably, before I block it, go back in and just duplicate stitch over some of those thinner spots. I didn't really want to, like, stop and then reattach. I was just like, let me just go and knit it and it'll be fine. It's just sitting in my lap. Nothing's coming undone. And yeah, I can duplicate stitch it later and it will be completely fine. I'm looking at a spot right now. Here, I can show you. Maybe. You can't see that. There's like one spot where it's just like a little bit thinner and it just needs some love. And that's fine. And it's going to have to get it because it's right by the armpit. So that's where I am with my Seaside. It's cute. It's coming along. Yeah, I love it. It's going to be great. That's that. All right, next. I'm dropping things. Next thing is, so actually I'll do my future because that leads me into my next thing, sort of. So I put in to do a test knit for Maxim Sear. He has a new sweater that's going to be coming out. I believe it's called the Officer sweater. It's sort of color blocked. We'll talk about that more in a minute. And I needed to swatch for it because I'm test knitting it, so I wanted to make sure that I was getting the proper gauge for it. And I'm using the Le Garçon Wool collab, the fluff. Oh, I just showed it, some fluff. And some of you may remember, I knit a swatch store sample for a local yarn shop here in the city. And I couldn't remember, because I didn't write it down for some reason, what my gauge was. I used the exact same needles that the sweater is going to be done on, and so I sent the shop owner messages like, hey, can you, I know this is weird, but can you tell me what my gauge was for this swatch? She's like, yes. So my gauge was bigger using the proper needle size. Actually, I'm just going to talk about that, and then I'll talk about this other thing after. So I had to go down a needle size, which is totally fine. So I'm using their fluff. Oh, yes, I remember. These are my two colors. Oh, that's so blown out. So this is Shadow. Long pause for the question marks that are going on in my head. This one's called Shadow, and this one is Cold Rain, I believe. Do I even have it on the thing? Yeah, this one's Cold Rain. It's like a really soft, it's very blown out here. It's a really soft gray. It's so beautiful. So I'm using those two. And the makeup, for those that don't know, so this, you can't see the tag. I have a piece of tape over it, so it's hard to see. So this is a sport weight garment when the yarn is sport weight. So it's 200 meters or 219 yards for 50 grams, 55% baby alpaca, 18% fine merino wool, 17% mulberry silk, 10% yak, 100% dreamy. All right, and so this is where I am with that. I'm not very far. I just started it a couple days ago. So, sorry, it's a little precarious to show. It's bottom up. And yeah. What? I'm so here for this. Okay, so you start with some, well, you can see it, so it's easy. It's not like I'm giving anything away. You start with some ribbing, and then you split, and I'm gonna work up, do the front panel, do the back panel. And this is in Tarja. I'm so smiley because I'm like, this is so stupid. I'm very proud of myself, if I'm being honest. I wanted to learn how to do Intarsia because there's a t-shirt. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to find it now. If I can find it, I'll put a picture in here. There's a t-shirt that I've wanted for a while now that is like it has a cassette tape on it, and I just think it's so cute, but it's in Tarja, and I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Like, at some point I'll learn. So the some point is now. I saw this in person when we were doing festivities for Rhinebeck Weekend. I knew there was going to be a test call. I was like, I need to test that. This looks like so much fun. And it is so much fun. I was like, okay, this is going to be in Tarja. This is going to be a little bit difficult. I watched a couple videos. Actually, one of my friends was over. I was like, oh, I need to watch this video because I need to learn how to do this technique before I start this test knit that I got approved to do. And we watched the video, and they just looked at me and they were like, oh, that's so easy. You can totally do that. And I was like, oh, okay, thanks for believing in me. So it's going great. It'll continue to just color block all the way up. And then I'll go back and I'll do the back panel. And I am going to do the sleeves 2 at a time. Because they're also done flat. So it's going to be fine. I did it with what was that cardigan? The Spice cardigan. I did those sleeves 2 at a time too. And was navigating using 4 balls of yarn. At the same time, so I'm not really worried about it. They're knit flat. I want them to be done. That way I know that they're the same length. Even though it's really easy to tell because of the color blocking. It's like, oh, you did what you were supposed to do. Yeah. Then I can just like block everything and then mattress stitch it together. Now, mattress stitching it together is also going to be a lot of fun. I've done it in the past, but I feel like I feel like I've never done a whole garment that way. So that'll be fun to seam something all the way up. It's like in pieces. Anyway, I'm super excited to, I feel like I'm saying that a lot. I'm super excited to be working on this. I think it's such a fun first intarsia knit for me. And hopefully, I mean, when's the next time? Hopefully by the next time, that's a big hopefully. The next time I see you, that will be like pretty much done because the due date for it is like shortly thereafter. So that's that. Good times. So when I did my swatch for that, I also, just because I was like, oh, well, I can't start this because I have to wait for this swatch to dry. Why don't I just swatch for something else? Because that's what I do. The nice thing is, though, is because I've been swatching, not a lot lately, but like I've swatched for a few future sweater projects. Now I know what my gauge is and I can just like start them, you know? It's like, oh, the not boring, tedious maybe some of us might think swatching is. The tedious part is over. Now I can just get into it. Anyway, I picked up this. It's giving very pine right now. This just 100% wool. Also during the Rhinebeck weekend. Remember from that like magical shop that had like $5 skeins? So this originally said that it was a DK weight and it was 440 yards. Now, I was watching someone else's podcast. I'm so sorry, I don't remember who. And they picked up some as well. And they were like, yeah, I looked at the numbers and I was like, that is literally the yardage for fingering weight. And I guess in the moment, I was just like, you know, $5, give me all the things. That didn't really register to me in my head. But then when I was watching someone else say it, I'm like, oh yeah, that doesn't make sense. Totally fine. Don't care. I have 4 skeins of it. So what I did was I went through my stash and I had some Knit Picks Aloft, which is their mohair silk combo. I don't have a ball band with me, but it doesn't matter. Once I get to this project, we'll talk more about it. But I do know that this color is called Labyrinth. I've used this a bunch of times, and I'm sure some of you who have been here for a while are saying, Michael, how many green sweaters do you need holding this Labyrinth color with some other green? And my answer to you is, I don't know because I can't stop. But when I get to that number, I will tell you. So, yeah, I held these two together. So a lace weight and a fingering weight. And this was my little swatch. It looks like a few other sweaters I have. I know. But like, I also don't care. I think green... We've talked about this. Green is like a color that I didn't know that I liked wearing. And then this sort of vibe of green is like really my jam. And so I did a swatch in it and I got gauge for Max's Bolt sweater. I'll pop a picture of that in here too. And that's also intarsia. What? So now that I'm doing this project, I'm like, oh, I'm getting that first intarsia project out of the way. I'm learning how to do it. That one is more like color work, I believe. Intarsia. So like that's like a bump up, right? Like I'm advancing, I'm getting more daring. So I figure I'm gonna do that sweater in this mohair fingering goodness. And so not only will it be graphic, but it will also be fuzzy, and that's fun for me. I'm super excited about it. All right, so that is all of that. The last thing I have is I just wanted to share, I'm sure most people have seen by now already, that the newest issue of Pom Pom Quarterly has come out, their winter issue. I will agree with everyone else's sentiments. I've only been getting Pom Pom since the winter of 2020, so it hasn't been that long. What was that, 3 years? Oh my gosh, crazy. And so they only have one more issue that they're going to be putting out left. And I have enjoyed getting it. I think that it's been really cool. I've made a bunch of things from it, while there have been issues where there weren't patterns that like catered, not specifically to me, but just like I didn't see anyone that looked like me in it, meaning like there was no male presenting representation, or like the things didn't skew like, oh, you could probably wear that. Whatever, like I have other people in my life that I can knit for, thankfully, when I want to knit for other people, that they would look wonderful in some of those things. So that never deterred me from wanting to get the magazine. Anyway, this new issue, monochrome, is really dope. I love this sweater that's on the front, actually. And it's just like, oh, it's not rib. Well, it's like a chunky rib, but it's just alternating. What's the name of it? Kaluna? Not sure. It just alternates like stockinette, reverse stockinette. Love that. Fun colors. There's another. Oh, yeah, it looks beautiful. Just here too. Oh my god. And also, where's this other one? It's like a blue. Maybe it's further in the front. Anyway, oh yes, I'm obsessed. Is it Anjou? Maybe. This is so cute. I can't even. Oh yeah, I might need that in my life at some point. Alexandria Liang. There's another one of it. Anyway, I think this is such a fun issue. I know they're doing like a last push sale. So if you're interested in getting back issues, definitely go over and check them out. See what's going on over there, what they have left. I had a subscription for the whole year. And so I know that they said that they were going to be sending out emails for people like once, the spring issue is out, because we all are going to have credits for getting other things in the shop or whatever. So I'm hoping to pick up some other back issues. I've been trying to slowly go through on Ravelry and see what sort of pattern, like what patterns in each issue I would probably want. So that I can just like pick up, a whole book of something maybe later. So we shall see. Anywho, that's that. I don't have a music rec for you this week, although I know that normally my music recs are like, here's this vinyl that I have, you should go and check this out. Okay, so I wanted to do that, but then I couldn't do that. But there was an album that came out today that I'm really excited about, and I'm gonna spend some money and I'm gonna pre-order it on vinyl, which means that it won't come out to the beginning of next year, but that's totally fine because I do that all the time. Not all the time, but I do it enough. Anyway, if you can, Andre 3000, who was one of the members of Outkast, most of you may remember the song Hey Ya. 1, 2, 3, 4, my baby. Anyway, has not put out any music for almost 2 decades. I think it's like 17 years or something. Anyway, he is really into like the flutes of all kinds. And he put out sort of an experimental flute instrumental album with some other artists. I don't know their names off the top of my head. Honestly, I listened to an NPR article about it. It was like an hour long, which get it. And I was like, oh, this is going to be so fun. And so I've started listening to it. It's an hour and a half long, which love a long album, especially just instrumental music. But I was listening to it this morning, super meditative, just like got me right while I was having my coffee and just like easing into the morning. And so I would recommend people to go and check it out. I don't have anything to show it because I don't have a physical copy of it yet. So go check it out. It's called New Blue Sun. New Blue Sun. Give it a listen. If it's not for you, it's all good. Maybe I'll pop in a song into the playlist just for people to see what the vibe is. It's very chill. Well, so far, I've only gotten through half of the album. That's that. All right, so that's it for me for this episode. I hope you all have enjoyed all of the makes or what is being made at this time. I can't wait to give you all an update on how the fiber comes along after I reply it. And I can't wait to get some more progress on both of, I can't believe I have two sweaters going on at the same time right now. That's a little bit ridiculous. And they're both being done on US 4s, which is crazy. So I'm sharing the needles. I can't wait to show you all more progress on the two of those. And whatever socks I decide to grab after I turn off the camera while I'm on my way to work and I get started before the next episode. I hope everyone's doing well. If you are in the States, I hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, if you are celebrating with folks, or if you are keeping it chill and it's just the people in your house. Like, that's fine. We could all take some time to really reflect on what the past year has meant for us, what we're thankful for currently. And remember that this time, we're getting into this time of year, right? Where these like bigger family holidays are sort of happening. And for me, at least, it's a good reminder that like it's not always joyous for everyone. And so, for some people, you just got to reach out, make sure they're doing all right for a plethora of reasons, right? It could not be a joyous day. Hold each other a little tighter. Reach out to people if you can. Be thankful for something this week and for the rest of the year. All right, so until I see you all in the next episode, make a peace, spread some peace. Peace.